This is the thing. Who you choose to hang around with, who you choose to have in your posse is exactly who you become. Choose your posse wisely. I'm here to tell you that putting yourself first is not selfish, it's revolutionary. Welcome to the Ayurvedic Woman podcast, empowering women to light their lives on fire through Ayurveda, yoga, spirituality, and fitness. I'm going to say this one last time. Stop apologizing. Women do this all the time. They apologize for everything. What are you feeling sorry about? Stop. If you do not put yourself first, nothing else happens. Stop putting everybody in front of you and put yourself first so that those people that you need to care for and take care of can be cared for because you have put yourself as the priority.
Jai Bhagwan, everybody, and welcome to the Ayurvedic Woman podcast. I am your host, Dr. Satyavani, and I've got my fabulous co-host here,
Prajna Madhavi.
We are so excited to have the one, the only, Lori Ice Fetrick from American Gladiators. I am paying it forward because this amazing gal had me on her podcast about a month back, and it was exciting, and I am just so thrilled to have you with us today, Lori. Welcome.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So, I actually, before we even get started with our weekly wellness check-in, I know that you just came back from my stomping grounds, New York City. Home, it will always be home. You can take the girl out of New York, but you can't take the New York out of the girl. And you were at the New York Comic-Con, correct?
Yes. Yeah, we were.
Tell us about the experience. Tell us about the experience.
There was Nitro, myself, Laser, and Zap. Mm-hmm. And it was the first time we've signed autographs together in the last probably, I'm going to say honestly, 30 years. It's been about 30 years since, since all of us got together and actually signed autographs together. I had never been to a Comic-Con, to be honest with you. So I had no idea what to expect. I knew that people dressed up as their characters and that kind of stuff, but I didn't realize the magnitude of it.
It's a thing. It's
huge.
I went to the San Diego Comic-Con probably 10, 12 years ago, one day, and it was like, oh, this is a thing. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I saw many Spider-Man outfits that shouldn't have been worn at all. So if you're going to wear a Spider-Man outfit, I'm sorry, you can't have a Buddha belly.
No.
Doesn't work.
No.
Honestly, you can't have any belly.
Right.
Let's just be real. You can't have a belly when you're wearing that tight red Spider-Man outfit.
Right. You got to be jacked. You got to be jacked.
Yes. It's hysterical.
Oh my God. Can you envision them trying to go up a building with that thing?
Oh my God. It's so funny. But the overall experience was just really amazing. Oh, I mean, since we hadn't been out in the public eye since the Netflix documentary Muscles and Mayhem, it was just so cool how we were so well, received. And here's something else that I found out that was very interesting. We were walking this, it was probably, I think it was Monday or Tuesday. We went down to the financial district because I had to take the shot with the bull.
Oh, I saw it. I actually followed your experience on social, and I was just like, that's so cool. Yeah.
And so, the helicopter ride, I now it's just like, you haven't seen New York unless you've seen it from a helicopter.
Absolutely.
I was, first and foremost, Manhattan, New York, I didn't realize it's literally an island, isn't it?
Yes, Manhattan Island. It is.
It's mind-blowing because nobody realizes that.
They don't.
With all seriousness, I'm not even joking. Until all of a sudden you're in the helicopter and you're looking, you're like, oh, shit. And then we're sitting on the couch last night and I was showing my girlfriend, I was like flipping through the pictures and she goes, And it was just me that I thought this as well, but I didn't say it. You know, you think things, you just don't say them. You're like, oh, I better not say that.
That's my inside voice.
Yeah, exactly. And all of a sudden she goes, why is it freaking me out so much to look at this island and to see all the massive amounts of buildings? And why wouldn't it just like, you know, it's like the weight.
Yeah.
And so the only thing we can come up with is it's like an iceberg, obviously, you know, that island, and just up underneath, you know, it's just got to be massive.
Yeah.
But, you know, when you look at it like that, it's mind blowing.
Yeah.
You know,
people only realize that Manhattan is an island when they take the ferry to Staten Island.
Yeah. But then you still think it's connected somewhere down the road.
Right.
You know, because that's exactly what was happening. It was like, well, isn't it connected right here? It's kind of like, you know, no, it's not.
Nope.
All the bridges, you're hitting bridges, and it's like, oh my God. Yeah. Honestly, had no idea. Idea.
I'm so happy you had that experience, because it really is. It's cool. It's super cool.
Got to go to Harlem. And there was a woman. Well, my manager showed up, and we actually, she had a client in Harlem, and it was a really cool, like, and there, it's called Patties. And they make their own fresh, like, chicken, beef, fish patties. And it's like a jazz bar as well.
Awesome.
So it was just like this small little hole in the wall, you know,
which has the best food ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the first time I've ever had Jamaican wings. It was just like, you know, and I'm like, and the first bite, my friend is like, oh my God, this is so hot. And I'm like, I take a bite and I'm like, okay, this is not that bad. And all of a sudden the second bite, my eyes just start watering. You know? But completely. I hadn't been to New York.
I was going to say, have you ever been here?
I used to go. Well, when we were doing Gladiators, I used to go at least twice a year.
Okay. Yeah. Well, because also when you were in Florida, I mean, that's an easy jump.
Well, it wasn't even so much when I was in Florida as when we were doing the show the very first five years. Okay. There was a lot of personal appearances and everything in New York constantly. Yeah. You know, we would, whatever it was, it seemed like we were in New York 2-3 times a year.
That's awesome.
But I hadn't been there since 9/11.
I know.
Yeah. It was before that, actually. So I had not been to New York probably 5 years prior.
Yep.
So it's been a while. Yeah. But I will tell you this.
It's changed a lot.
But here's the thing. Not really.
Yeah.
It really hasn't. I mean, it's been 20 years since I've been there or so. And you see the media, and the media is all like, oh my God, you know, New York's in an array of trash, and they're not picking it up, and they're homeless. I mean, they go on and on about how terrible the city is. And I'll be honest with you. I was like, this is exactly how it was 20, 25 years ago. Nothing's changed. I saw some trash build up in Times Square.
Right.
Not a big deal.
Right.
Financial district's all the same. Everything. It's just, it was kind of mind blowing. It was like, wow, the media again made this out to be this hellhole shithole.
Right.
And it wasn't.
No. And New York has always been known for being a dirty city.
Yes.
I mean, it's like
what's changed.
Changed. And that's what makes it so cool, because, you know, I don't even say dirty. I say gritty. You know, and the people are gritty, you know, like,
yes, they are.
People always say, they're like, oh, you know, New Yorkers are rude. I'm like, no, they're not. They're not rude. First of all, they're busy.
They're to the point.
And that's exactly
very quickly.
People are not used to people being direct.
Yes.
And so like, even, I mean, Prajna knows this, like me living out here in Boise, Idaho, being as direct as I am, because again, you can't take the New Yorker out of the girl. People are just sort of like, you know, did you really say that? I'm like, oh, was that my inside voice that
I never did? I say that out loud?
But like, that's, you know, but the thing is also with New Yorkers is that if you ever need something, like if you were walking around Harlem and you were lost and you went to somebody and be like, hey, can you direct me? Boom. Like they're always there to help you
nice. Out. I definitely experienced that. It was interesting. For the first time, we were in the financial district and a gentleman walks by me. And I just had my sunglasses on. I didn't have my baseball hat on. And all of a sudden I hear the Lori. And I was like, the way he said it was like, literally, it was my neighbor, you know, Lori. And I turned and I looked at him and I go, do I know you? And I took my sunglasses off. He goes, oh my God, you're Lori, Ice from the American Gladiators. And I was like, whoa. because nobody before the Netflix documentary, nobody ever referred to me as Lori. Everybody was like Ice, Ice,
Right,
Ice,
right,
So for somebody to actually call me Lori on the street was like, I was like looking around like, who, where, but it was like,
that's a committed fan.
it was like super cool. And then the guy at the helicopter pad walks up and he has his phone. And we're sitting there waiting on the inside before they take us out. And he has his phone and he kind of like does it inconspicuously. He has his phone and he hands it down to me. He goes, "Is that you?" And it was a picture of me. Actually, it was my photo from my podcast.
I love that.
And I said, "Yes, sir, it is." And he got really excited. And I took a picture with him and I said, "You're going to hook me up now, right?"
Little quid pro quo here.
Yeah. He put me in the front seat of the helicopter,
That's
with the pilot.
I know.
So
Nice.
I saw the pictures.
Cool. It was an amazing trip. So we got a lot of contacts. We had a wonderful time. Awesome. And it was a great trip. So thanks for asking.
Oh, I'm so happy. It's so great. Yep. New York, close to my heart. So
I know, I get it. I want to go back now. I do.
I know. You actually, seeing the pictures, you made me want to go and visit,
Yeah.
So I was like, I should go back there, but
I had never been to Times Square, to be honest with you.
What?
But that's where the hotel was at. So it was interesting to like stand in the middle of Times Square and do the 360 view of it all. Is like, wow, it is, and it's changed since obviously 25 years ago, way more obviously electronic, billboards and stuff like that. And so it was awesome. Yeah. Awesome trip.
I'm so happy to hear that. And I'm glad that you got home safely. So
thank you.
As we get into our discussion with you today, because we actually have really cool, legitimate questions for you.
All right.
That I know our listeners are going to be very interested in hearing about. But what we always do at the beginning of our show is we do a little wellness check-in to see how you're feeling, how are things going on all levels of your being. Are you feeling physically, mentally, emotionally, that kind of thing, where you're at right now. So Praj, why don't you lead us through? Why don't you start?
So my wellness check-in for this week was, I had a couple of days where I was pretty overwhelmed, just physically, mentally, emotionally. I did get my workouts in this week, but it was just kind of an exhausting week at school. I'm a high school teacher, and so they were, the students, just really not even them. It was just all of the tasks that I had for the week. And I finally, talking to you earlier today, pinpointed that one of the issues I was having was I was constantly trying to think about things in the future. And I was trying to get things done in my head of what I had to do in the future instead of being very present in what I was doing right now. Mm-hmm. And once I made that shift, actually today, amazingly, things got better. And I stopped focusing so much on what I had to get done and just said, okay, just be here right now and be in the present moment with these students, teaching them what you need to teach them. And it was great. So really, hopefully that is, these moments that I keep having of awareness of figuring out what I need to do to get better on all of the Koshic levels. It's been nice. So that's been pretty much my week. So kind of a little bit of a roller coaster, but it came out on the way up. So that's good.
Awesome. That's great. How's the knee?
Knee actually feels stronger than it has a long time.
Because I know we did the women's self-defense workshop last weekend, and you're saying, I'm not really sure. So
it actually bounced back really fast.
Love it.
I know. I know. That's going to get me back in there.
I'm going to get you back into Krav if it's the last thing that I do.
I know. No, I know. By the next day, it is a lot stronger. So by the next day, it really wasn't bugging me much at all. So that's a good sign.
That's a great sign.
Yeah.
Awesome. Ice, what about you, man? Like you're looking extra jacked. You're looking extra jacked.
Always.
I didn't work out all week, as a matter of fact. When I travel, it's very hard for me to get a workout in. I give myself permission to just not work out when I travel.
That's great.
So that way I don't stress myself out. I don't like, oh my God, I got to work out. However, today will be my first workout. I gave myself a moment. The week, let's go with the week.
Yeah,
all right, the week. I'm in my element right now. I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. I'm where I'm supposed to be right now. And it feels super comfortable, super exciting. I have missed traveling. I realized how much I missed it. I love exploring. I love, going to different places. As far as mentally, interesting enough, again, pretty stable on that one because of the fact that I don't know why, but I can very easily navigate through the people. Okay. So when there's a shit ton of people around me, and they're wanting, I'm pretty good about just kind of like being okay with that and just one at a time and just, kind of like getting to the people one at a time, whatever they want, at that time from me. Little overwhelming, I would say, in certain areas of the trip, but nothing that I couldn't mentally handle for the moment.
Awesome.
Physically it feels great. I honestly, I was saying this to my friend, even though I didn't train all week long, I didn't really miss it because I've done it for so many years that it's just like, although it does make me feel amazing when I actually do go back in the gym. Yes. There's absolutely no way that I could ever give it up, even though I talk like I could. Yeah. I could, it's like, I could probably talk like, I could go another week, but realistically, if I went another 2-3 days, I'd be jonesing, to get back in the gym and get those endorphins and everything moving and getting my system moving. And I eat better. I feel better, everything when I train. So
it's awesome.
Yeah, it was a good week. It was a very good week. And what about you?
Oh, my, thank you for asking. I do want to say, though, something about what you just said. I really believe in, and this actually ties into my wellness check-in, that you do need to take time off. It just can't be go for a couple of reasons. Your body actually does need rest. The other, and that's what happened with me last week, but then this week, I worked out every day, but it was lighter in nature because tomorrow I'm actually taking my level 3 Krav Maga exam. And so it'll be, like 5 hours of all sorts of getting your ass kicked, which I'm super excited about. But today I had a private session. I would be too. Yeah. I had a private session with my trainer today and I just felt like I'm ready. Cool. Like, let's do this. So I felt really good about that.
That's exciting.
I don't think I would have felt that way if I hadn't basically, like last week, I just had a dip in just everything, energy, immunity, et cetera. And I'm like, this is a first class ticket to getting injured or getting sick. And
absolutely.
And I was just like, I'm not doing that. So, so I'm glad that I took the rest and that I just kind of ramped up this week. And so tomorrow will be the day. So
there you go.
We'll see. Yeah. So
that's
I feel good.
Exciting.
Yeah, I know. Fingers crossed that I passed.
You're going to kill it. You're going to kill it. You're going to be amazing. It's going to be, and you know what? When you're prepared for something like this, it'll be easy.
Yeah.
It's when you're not prepared.
Right.
Is when you get, a little stressed. And that I think kind of goes with everything.
Yep.
It doesn't matter if it's sports, work,
life,
podcast, life. Exactly. Life. If you're not prepared, then you get that stressful of, oh my God, I don't know. But and when you're solid and you're prepared, it's like, let's do it. I'm ready.
Absolutely. That's exactly how I feel right now. I feel prepared in so much so that I'm actually ready to have fun with it.
There you go.
When you're just like, all right, let's do this thing. Like, let's have a good time. Like, I know it's going to be long. I know it's going to be hard. Okay. Put that to the side and let's just have some fun. So
see, that's exciting. Can you give me a 30-second, tell me exactly what that is that you're doing tomorrow?
Yeah. So Krav Maga is a Israeli self-defense system. It is not a martial art. A lot of people are like, oh, you do that, I do Taekwondo. They're not the same. So these are I always tell people these are military fighting tactics with jailhouse rules.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. So it's just a lot of ass kicking, but in very real world situations. So we train as if like if you and I were walking down a dark alley in New York City and Prajna jumped out and wanted to attack us. I have the skills. I'm developing
to kick her ass.
To kick her ass. Although I have to say, she knows how to kick because Prajna's got 4.5 inches of height on me, and her legs are like come up to like where my armpit is. And so, if you ever
that would be fun to learn.
Yeah, if you ever take a kick from Prajna, you feel it. You feel it. Your grandkids kind of feel it. So, but
that's awesome.
Yeah,
I love that.
So it's a lot of offensive. Upper and lower body, and then defense, upper body, and then level 4 will be defensive lower body, where you kind of bring everything together. So we do it in stages. So yeah, it's gonna be fun.
So cool.
Yeah, well, it's a lot of fun. Yeah,
I don't even need to say good luck. You're gonna kill it.
Oh, Thank you. I'm excited. Well, let's get into the meat of this, gals. This is exciting. So, my first question to you is, what led you to try out for American Gladiators? Like, how did that whole thing unfold?
It was, I was a bodybuilder and I was competing. I was going national level. I wanted to go pro. I was one show away from actually going pro. And I was watching I'm a TV watcher, and I was watching television, and this show came on, and I knew of Ray Hollett. I competed against her. Ray Hollett is Zap on the show. I competed not against her in bodybuilding, but I knew of her in the industry, in the bodybuilding industry. And so therefore, when the television show came on the air, I looked at it and I was like, wow, that's pretty stupid. But it was kind of cool. It was kind of like, that game show, kind of like, but and with all seriousness, I can say it looks stupid because of the fact that it really was. When you actually go back and you watch the documentary of the Muscles of Mayhem, how they actually made the show, the very first the pilot was ridiculous. I didn't even know the pilot, to be honest with you. So the very first time I was on the air, I saw the cardboard cutout people in the audience, and I was like, wow. But what drew me in was the athletic games and the athletic. You had to be an athlete to do this. It wasn't just standing on stage and posing and how big is your bicep or your delts and your back all in proportion. It wasn't about that. It was about, can you tackle another woman? Can you joust somebody and knock their head off with a pugil stick? Can you aim a tennis ball while somebody's running and try to hit him? I was like, oh, this is me. This is my element right here. And so
it's kind of like the fair meets CrossFit,
Exactly. So and what really kind of sucked back then is we didn't have social media, we didn't have our computers, we didn't have Google. Where do I go? It was like, I just watched the show, and at the end of the show, it had the production company. And I guess I was smart enough to realize, okay, let's contact the production company. Let's see where they're at, walk into their offices, because I knew everything was here in LA. And I walked in, I handed them my headshot and resume and said, hey, I want to try out for this show that you guys have. And they said, well, hold on to that because we have tryouts in 3 weeks. And let me tell you where they're at. And they told me where the tryouts were in 3 weeks. I competed against 80 other women, and it went from 80 to 50 to 20 to 10 to 5. And it took me 3 months to get that job. It really did. Wow. Yeah. And the very last 3 tryouts where it was 10 girls, first tryout. Then the second one we came back for, there was 5 of us. And then the third one, there was only 2 of us. And here's what they were doing. We realized they were using us as guinea pigs to test out new games is what they were doing. So that particular year, they didn't have Hang Tough. They didn't have the rings.
Right, right.
So we were the guinea pigs on the rings of how big of a ring do they need to have? Oh do we need to have anything like the little dowel kind of thing that wrapped around your wrist like gymnasts have? Do we need those? Right. It was like, how high should the rings be from the mat when you fall? I mean, all these different things.
God. And they're using human people to figure this out.
Yes. I remember going from one end to the other end on the rings, and they didn't have anything for our hands. And the rings were very, very tiny at that point in time. My hands were getting ripped up with blisters, and all I could think about is just don't let go. Don't let go. Just really, I mean, my hands were so blistered up, and I was just like, but it was a tryout. Right. This was a do or die moment. Were you getting a little pain from your hand? Was that going to like separate me from the girl behind me? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah. Now, did they hire any of, like, when you're talking about this narrow down, down from, 50 to 20 to 10, they were only looking for one additional gal, or did they hire any of the others?
Interesting enough, they were looking for one, but yet they hired two of us. And they hired myself and Diamond, but I was the only one that went in that year. I went in for the first, I think it was 21 episodes, and then they still hired her, but she went in after that. Got it. And then we had more girls. Yeah. So it was, basically it was just the athletic part of it that I was like, I'm an athlete. I'm like, let me do this. Let me at it.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah. Well, that's actually a really good segue into the next question that I have. And so what was the process of bringing on new gladiators, especially for females? And then was it different for men? Like what was
and that's the whole thing. That's what we love so much about the Gladiators is there was no sexist involved. It was like we did exactly what the males did. The males did exactly what we did. Mm-hmm. Tryouts were exactly the same. They put you through basically a 40-yard dash. Let's see how fast you can run. Let's see if you can do some pull-ups to see how strong you are. And then we're going to put you on a one-on-one situation with Powerball, like a little kind of like a half court type thing. Let's see if you can move. And then after that, what they would do is they'd take you and they'd put you on camera, and they wanted to know if you could speak. So there was a lot of people there that were amazing athletes. Right. Maybe they didn't have the look. Right. Maybe they couldn't speak. Right. You know what I mean? They couldn't put a sentence together. They asked them a question, and they would just go, yes, no. Right. Right. They weren't used to
because there's definitely more to it than just the athletic part of it. Like you've got to have that je ne sais quoi. You've got to have that energy.
Je ne sais quoi.
Charisma.
Can you do that again?
Je ne sais quoi.
But yeah, they wanted the whole package, wow. So it was, I felt pretty fortunate, because of the fact that they felt like I had the whole package, which was amazing. And even at that point in time, funny story is, the very last, so when it came to the athletic part, hands down, I had it. Okay. Mm-hmm. However, there was a part to where we're talking late 80s. Okay. So think of the hairstyles, think of the mullets, think of the hardness, think of exactly. And I had the sides of my head kind of like not shaved, but just super short. Yep. I was jacked. I was a bodybuilder. So needless to say, I was pretty rough looking. I was pretty hard looking. Let's put it that way. Mm-hmm. Didn't know how to do makeup quite yet. I was
had to glam you up. Had to get
they
had to
glam me up. Exactly. They and so what happened was they were bringing on a new makeup artist. Mm-hmm. And the very last part was, hey, here's a potential gladiator, and here's a potential makeup artist. And they told the makeup artist, they said, if you can soften her look, we'll not only hire her, but we'll hire
you.
Yeah.
That's actually kind of smart.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, think about it. That was when the perms were all in.
Oh my God. Oh God, I know.
That reminds me of that movie, Miss Congeniality with Sandra Bullock. When
yes. Yes. And it's funny because I had that perm going for about probably, I want to say a year throughout Gladiators, because that was a hairstyle. And then I went to New York and I was shooting a photo shoot for the cover of Fitness magazine. And I had a different manager at that point in time. And she took me to a hair salon and they straightened my hair. They cut it. They did everything.
Yep.
And it was just like a whole new Lori. It's a whole new look. I had to get some help along the way, but it was, I invited it. It was all good. Learned how to dress, how to do my hair, how to do makeup. It was that, you're right. It was like that miscongeniality.
Totally.
I look back and I laugh.
Yeah.
Well, it's very interesting. Like the styles that from the 80s to the 90s, it was like, if you look at pop culture, like you look at Gladiators, even as the evolution of that show, the pop culture look and feel just like it went from big hair to like straight, like calm that thing down. It was like a huge transition. So
there was no in between.
No, it's funny. That's funny. So
did I answer your question?
Oh,
yeah.
Great. Absolutely. I have to ask because both Prajna and I, have been athletes our whole lives, and Prajna played volleyball, and my story because we've already spoken about it, and so as a result, we've had injuries. Now I know that on Gladiators, like it was kind of a free for all. So, what were your personal, as well as like across the Gladiator groups, like biggest injuries that you had to recover from and like may still feel to this day?
Neck, lower back, and knees, and my knees. I was very fortunate to where I didn't get like super major. I mean, I say that, but with all reality, I had a serious nerve damage in my left shoulder from that stupid cannonball game. And the girl swinging down and hitting that side. I don't know why I never changed to my right side. It's always my left side. Well, I think back now, and the reason why it was always my left side is because I used my right leg to brace myself because I'm right-handed. So obviously the way that I was standing on that pedestal, my right leg was behind me. So I'd always brace. So that left arm probably, that was the biggest injury I had, because I remember it took almost a year and a half for that thing to heal. And while I was doing Gladiators, I had to take Vicodin, the painkiller, because it would just ache. I mean, it was this throbbing, aching to where I just wanted to cut my left arm off. It ached so bad.
Oh, I know that feeling.
I couldn't tell you where the pain was coming from. That was what the problem was. I didn't realize it was the ulnar nerve that was damaged going down my entire arm. I had no idea. So I was icing, like, was it my elbow? Was it my arm? Was it my, come to find out it was that ulnar nerve. And so that's why my entire arm, it was just grueling, the pain that I was feeling in that left arm. Thank God I was young, and otherwise I'd be like, am I having a heart attack? But other than that, I had a small meniscus tear in my left knee that I went and just got cortisone shots in. I was back on set the next day. The reason why is because if you don't play, you don't get paid. So therefore we had no insurance. We had nothing. So that's
like mind blowing to me.
Yeah, I know.
Wow. Okay.
I know. Absolutely crazy. So I had that. And then, the other thing is just like little, lower back stuff, but, and neck stuff. It's just arthritis, However, I felt very fortunate because most of the Gladiators, they fared pretty well, but there was a few Gladiators that had ACL tears. And that just takes you out. An ACL tear, you're done.
Yeah.
So I felt pretty fortunate that I didn't really miss, any shows because of an injury. But yeah, it was a free for all. It was, they would have never. I'm really curious. They're supposed to bring this thing back, and I'm really curious about the whole.
You mean they're going to bring the show back?
I've heard they're bringing it back, but wow. I can only imagine the safety issues and the concerns, and I mean, I put them all in bubble wrap. Maybe I don't know. Yeah, it would be funny, but yeah, I mean, that was the biggest thing I think were the ACL tears for some of the other Gladiators, but you kind of learn to fall, you learn not to get hurt, you learn different things. I mean, you can't always go by that.
Right.
But at the same time, if I see some girl barreling at me, go ahead.
Right.
You know, I'm not going to throw my body in front of you and try to stop you,
right.
you
Just
know, and
step
get
out of the way.
injured.
Right.
Exactly. You know, so I learned these type of things where I could gauge how a lot of the contestants were playing. Some were harder than others. Some were scrappier than others. Some were stronger than others. So you get to know your contestants to where you know how they're going to come at you. And if you know that in advance, you can kind of prepare. Right. And with that preparation, again, you probably won't get hurt.
Okay. You know, actually, that brings up a sub question, if that's okay, Prajna, just what she brought up about the contestants. So, like, did you have the experience of like these contestants that were on the show felt like they had something to prove?
Oh,
you know,
all day, every day.
Yeah, like against the Gladiators, like I'm going to prove that I'm stronger than ice. You know, like that kind of thing.
I had contestants come up to me, women come up to me, and they'd stand like either behind me, next to me, or whatever it may be, like if we were prepping for something. And I'll never forget one girl goes, laugh so hard. She goes, I've been training all year to kick your ass. And I was like, I just looked at her and I started laughing. And I was like, good luck. You know? It was, they would come in, but see, here's the thing too, is they would come in with these attitudes and these chips on their shoulders. And it was entertaining to me, because once the camera hit them and once the lights come on and once they realized they were on TV,
freaked out.
Half the time they froze, you know, they were nervous.
Yep.
And I wasn't nervous. The Gladiators weren't nervous. And so therefore we had that upper edge.
Yep.
You know,
that makes sense. That's funny.
I love
it. Yeah. Which actually that dialogue feeds, I think, into the next question.
Yeah, my next question. So we are, you know, we have a podcast that we're really trying to engage females to feel more empowered and more empowerment. And so my question to you would be, how did being a gladiator boost your confidence as a woman? So.
Great question. How did being a gladiator boost my confidence? God. I would say being in the limelight, being in the public eye, getting feedback. I mean, I don't even know how else to put that, but it's the feedback that I got. I was just being me. I was just being who I am. You know, I was always an athlete. I was always, you know, kick ass, take names later kind of girl. And so I can't really say that I changed who I was when I went on the show. I just kind of played it up more. You know, I played that persona up. You know, I tried to make her a little bit larger than life. But the confidence, I think, it didn't come right away. Obviously, it came over time, you know, and it came from different feedback. That's the only thing that I could possibly come up with at this moment, because I can't really say it was like all of a sudden, you know, I was on the show, my confidence level went up because I got on the show. No, it was the confidence level came up when I was performing and I was winning, you know. Because, you know, when the cameras went on and they blew that whistle, it was, you were all balls out for 30 seconds to a minute, whatever game it was. And the lights and the camera didn't matter at that time. You know, we were all about winning, you know, and that's who I am. And I was back then as well. I was an athlete. You know, let's go. I want to win. So the more that I was doing the games, the more I became confident with who I was, how I could handle the games. I was winning the games. the more confident it was. Just over time, I just became more and more and more and more confident as the show went on. And I realized what I was doing, you know, being on the show. And I realized what my character was on the show and how I played into the show and what my role was. And as soon as I kind of was super comfortable with that, the confidence level just kept building and building and building.
Wow. And if I may, I'm sorry, Praj, go ahead.
Well, I just, giving a reflection back to you, Ice, is I do think you, back when I was watching the show, you were one of my favorites because you had this charisma about you. And yet, even though you were competitive, you were very likable. Like it just came out in you. So I'm wondering.
That's a great word.
That confidence is like, we talk a lot about how you are in the world, people reflect that back to you. And I'm wondering if like some of that confidence kind of came with people reflecting that confidence back to you. And it was that response. So
probably.
Anyway, I just wanted to,
yeah. And I agree with you. It's very true. It's like, I like to be around, I love being around strong females that are very confident within themselves because it's fun, you know, it's just fun to be around that rather than, you know, the insecurities and, you know, that's fine. That's fine. You know, let them be who they are. But I enjoy that. I think as much as people enjoy being around me, I enjoy being around that as well.
Yeah.
You know, that strong, confident female.
Right.
You know,
it takes a lot out of the mix. You know, Praj and I, we have this discussion all the time because it's like when you're around other strong females, like there's an understanding. It's like, you know, and when you're around strong, confident females, you don't have to worry about or even spend your energy on petty bullshit. You know, it's just like,
do you play big? Do you play small?
Right,
where am I fit? It's just like, no, you're just boom. We're just here.
We're just doing this thing. And we're lifting each other up. And so all of that energy that goes towards exactly what you said, you know, big, small, you know, am I too loud? Am I too this, you know, and then you start becoming self-conscious. You can't be who it is that you are, et cetera. Like that just goes away. And it's like, I don't have to fucking deal with that. Like,
yes. And it's refreshing and it's fun.
Yeah. Fun is a good word. Yeah.
I mean, life is fun, you know,
it's totally
and that's
fun.
One of the things I think that maybe that is a reflection. I don't know. And I've heard this is that I know there's a light in me and I know that, you know, and it feels good. And it's just like, boom, here it is, you know? So I don't like playing small, you know, to where it's like, somebody's like, ooh, she's a little too confident or she's a little too arrogant or she's a little too something, you know? It's like, if you don't like me, then I don't need you in my space.
Too fucking bad. This is my response.
Exactly.
Too fucking bad.
Yeah. I don't need you in my space.
Right.
So, and I enjoy being around people. I love people. I really do. As much as there are so many people that I don't want to be around, I truly do love people, you know, and I think that also comes out as well, you know, and if I can just help change, not even change, if I can help enhance someone's life just a little bit as I move throughout my life, then I feel like I'm doing my job.
That's awesome.
You know, by giving back.
That's awesome.
That's good. I don't know.
No, it's great. You said a couple of minutes ago about you knew what your role was on the show. So what was that role?
To be a badass. That was just plain and simple. I was Ice. I was the one to beat. I was the one to take out. That was my role. I you know, I wasn't the shy girl. I was the one that was there. I wasn't necessarily in your face. And it's funny that you mentioned something earlier about you liked, it was like somebody said, I think Dan Clark Nitro said it on the documentary. He said, there's something about Ice to where she'll go out and she'll just kick your ass, but she's going to smile and shake your hand when you're done at the end of the day.
Yep.
And yes, that's exactly what I do, because of the fact that I enjoyed that competition so much that it's just like, I know I'm going to kick your ass, but hey, great game, great try. And the ones that beat me, if they beat me fair and square, it was just a big smile and a shake of the hand.
That's right.
Obviously, so my role was to be the badass on that show. I was the one to beat, And
you played it well. Very well.
You did.
You played it well. You played it well. Oh no! I mean, I remember I was just going into high school when the show was starting to come to an end. I was in elementary school, and I remember it was also that time when different types of women were coming up, and so you had women who could actually be bodybuilders, and then you had like these other creative women that also showed their power in different ways, like Annie Lennox,
Yes.
And
remember Susan Powers?
Yes. Oh my God. Remember?
Yes.
Exactly. Like that whole genre of women. And I remember thinking, because like the sort of the for lack of a better phrase, the cutesy women, like I never like really connect, like I was not going to be Marsha Brady. You know what I mean? Like that was never
exactly. I
was just never going to be the thing. And I remember like when Gladiators came out and being an athlete and all of that, it was like, oh my God, there is out there a different type of woman that, that doesn't fit this old kind of profile. And not that there's anything wrong with that, because a lot of, right. It was just, it was an alternative. There was something different.
Exactly. And it's evolved so very much. And you're right. Back then, I mean, we were kind of the first of the strongest females being on television.
Absolutely. I mean,
people were just like, whoa, they either loved or hated us.
That's right.
There's
nothing in between.
There was, because it was like, whoa, I've never seen a female look like that before, Yep. And here's what's ridiculous about society too, is because I was on television and I was a bodybuilder, I was very well accepted. Okay. However, on the flip side of that coin, before I was a gladiator, let's just go a week before I was a gladiator, I'd walk down the mall and I could hear people in the back of my head going, oh my God, she's so big. Why does she want to look like a man? Oh, that's so disgusting. Oh my God. They're just like constant, la. And then all of a sudden, this is funny. If I was a gladiator and they would have said that behind me, but walked around me and saw my face, they would have been like, oh my God, you're Ice from the Gladiators. This is so cool. And their whole perception would have changed.
Yep.
And it's just like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because I'm on television, your whole perception of, oh my God, why does she want to have muscles? Why does she want to look like a man? Flipped to, oh my God, your Ice. That's so cool. It's mind blowing.
Yep.
It is. But this is our society, and we've always been like this.
Yep.
You
nailed it.
Yeah.
If the masses say that it's okay and you look amazing, the masses all agree. So stupid.
It's beyond stupid. It's funny because like you had during that era, you had like the Debbie Gibson kind of gals, you know what I mean? And then like, then you and all of your, your colleagues from the show come into play, and it just, it was really very culture shifting.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. It really was. Yeah. It's so much fun.
Praj, I know you have another question.
Yeah. So you kind of actually touched on this earlier, but I'd love maybe a couple more examples of how you think this might be different. So if the show were to air today in this era, what are some things you think would be very different aside from bubble wrap?
Exactly.
I think they're going to kill it. I think they're going to run the show. I think they're going to try to be super diverse and make sure we have every single person in there to make everybody feel comfortable.
Yeah,
I think you're right.
And they're just going to run it because of the fact that you can't do that. Yeah. The Gladiators, the heart and soul of the Gladiators is the competition and the true grit and the authenticity of who we were as athletes and coming across. Yeah, we played the personas up a little bit, but what you saw is a lot of who we were.
Real.
You know, we were real.
You were very real.
Now what they're going to do is most likely they'll try to play a character.
Yep. Which
will kill it in the first. And that's what happened in 208 when they brought it back. They tried to play characters.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't work well.
Yeah.
I think that there's going to be so many safety issues that the games aren't going to be really raw and true grit. I think again, let's go with the lineup. Let's go with the lineup of the females. There's going to be one that's going to be a bodybuilder. There's going to be one that's going to be really thin. There's going to be one that's going to be chunky and kind of fat. There's going to be another one that's going to be, I don't know, possibly there's going to be white, black, Mexican. Now we're going to have probably Armenian, Persian. We might even have a transgender on there. Who knows? You name it. They're going to try to be so politically correct.
Yep.
Going to run it.
Yeah.
That's what I
think. And then even you have contestants, because you think about, okay, contestants wise, the population we have today is so much unhealthier than it was.
Oh my God.
In the
They're
80s
such
and
pussies.
90s.
I'm sorry. Let's go there. They are such pussies. I'll be honest with you. I am like, I had a
girl, preach that shit. Preach,
dude.
I
let me tell you something. I'm writing a children's book. Myself and my manager, we're writing a children's book. And the way that we have to be so careful on, well, they can't fight. Well, it depends on the competition. If you do a little competition in there,
because everybody's got to get a trophy.
Yes,
get a trophy.
Yes,
mm-hmm. yes.
And we're gonna call it the Little Warriors,
right?
But there's possibility of the warrior name.
Right.
I'm like, are you kidding me?
Oh man!
I mean, we are raising
you can't fucking do anything.
Bunch of pussies out there. I'm sorry, we are. Because let's go back. With all seriousness, let's go back. It's like, okay, half the shit we did probably wasn't the healthiest stuff in the world. But then again, think about it. Okay, so let's go when I was 10, 50 years ago. It's like, yeah, we were drinking out of hoses. We didn't have seatbelts all the time. There was no tailgate on the back of the truck, yet we were still in the back of the truck. There was just like...
And it was great.
Awesome. And you know what? If you're not first, you're last. Okay? Mm-hmm. There's no participation trophies.
No.
It's first, second, and third. Boom. That is it.
That's it.
And you know what? And better luck next time if you didn't make it in the top 3.
Right.
There's just no like, okay, Johnny, you did really well. I know you came in last, but here's your participation trophy. You sucked. You sat on the bench. Right. Because Johnny maybe didn't want to get off his ass and actually go out and play with the other kids because of the fact the parents never really made him go out to play with the other kids because he was on his computer all the time because the parents don't want to deal with the kids nowadays. So what they do is they just stick an iPad or something in front of their face and go, here, be quiet. Mm-hmm. It's not about going outside anymore and playing.
No.
And
getting in the dirt.
Right. Dear God, there might be something in the dirt or, you might get germs here and there. We were eating dirt. We were like licking shit off our hands after we played all day. And we made it. Mm-hmm. We made it. And we're healthy. That's what our immune system is for. It wasn't like, hey, shove a shot in or shove a shot. Let's vaccine. We didn't have 100 different vaccines in us.
Nope.
We had 2.
Thank God.
Right?
Oh my God.
But we had small, what was it? Measles, mumps, and
rubella. Measles, mumps, rubella. Mm-hmm. And polio. You got polio.
That was it.
Yeah, that was it.
It's just insane. And I'll say it again. Every time I talk to somebody, I'm like, I feel sorry for the kids that are growing up in this generation. I really do.
They're fucked.
They're soft. They're weak. They have no confidence. They have no skill levels. They don't even know how to write any longer. Blew my mind.
No, they don't teach script. They don't teach script anymore.
Blew my mind.
Yeah. I had a student the other day. I wrote a note to her and she's
I'm sorry. That's right. You I forgot you're a high school teacher.
Yeah. Yeah. And she's like, I can't read cursive. And I'm like, what?
Right? How do they sign their name?
They don't. No, literally, I swear. Well, first of all,
Are they taking away the individual? Are they taking away you're an individual and you can sign your name? Right. It's like, are they taking that away?
Yeah, they're doing that now.
Yeah, I mean, eventually.
Hold on, what?
A lot of them are on computers. I'm one of the few teachers that makes them still write.
What'd you say?
We have comments from the peanut gallery.
So April just told me that they just put cursive writing back here in schools in California.
Oh, okay.
So now it's a must.
That was scary.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was like, geez.
Whoa.
No, it's interesting. First of all, like, welcome to the Woman Warrior Cave, because like this is where Prajna and I, like, we're in the same space, and the gals that this is where we live. So like you're right on the same. You're right.
It's where the cult comes together.
That's right. This is these are our cult principles. But what's really I was telling my husband the other day. I went to get a burrito, right, and I go to the checkout and the woman says, okay, it's going to be $12.85. And I literally said to her, I said, great. I said, I actually have 85 cents. She didn't hear me. I hand her a $20 bill and I'm digging out the change out of my wallet. And she's already doing the transaction. I said, no, I have 85 cents.
You screwed her up right there.
No, like looked at me with like, what? And so I said, so I couldn't, like, this was my inside voice that just came out, because now I don't give a fuck. I said to her, do you not know how to do math? And I said,
no, they don't.
$20.85 minus $12.85 is $8.
Leaves you with.
Right, exactly. And her manager is standing right behind her, and he's like rolling his eyes. And she got all panicked. And it's very interesting to see how the generation also like has 10,000 excuses. Oh, and she's like, oh, I'm just really tired. I'm like, hon, it is 1:30 in the afternoon. Like, right. How can, like, you guys just opened up 3 hours ago. Like, how can you be tired? You know?
I'm surprised she didn't grab her phone and do this.
Well, no. And she was going to, like, she's looking at the
she's like, where's the calculator?
Exactly. Like, what? And I'm just like, this is simple math. And so like, right. But it blew my mind, because I was just like,
my mind.
Yeah, they really don't know how to do simple math. They don't.
What grade do you teach in high school? What grade?
I teach mostly freshmen right now. I do have some juniors and seniors. So
okay. What subject?
Social studies.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
And psychology.
Psychology. Yeah. Psychology and economics. All that fun stuff. So.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I know.
Oh my God.
You should have thought you needed to get your ribbon out and give it to her. I'm like, well, at least you participated in this whole transaction. You didn't win, but you participated in it.
But, no, and you know what's really, like, I know we're a little off topic, but we're going to go. It's okay. The thing that's, you know, kind of frustrating about all of it too is that you see the parents of these kids buying into it.
Oh yeah.
Like, never in a million years would my mother and father buy into anything like this. Like, if I didn't do well in school and I got a bad grade, like, my mom would not call my teacher and be like, you know, she really tried and da-da-da. My mom would be like, fucking study harder. Like, right? Get your shit together. Like, like that's so, like Prajna, you literally get parents who come to you trying to make excuses for some of the students.
Are you serious?
Oh, all the time. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. When I taught at university, I had a parent call me.
University.
Yes. I had a parent call me for their college senior. Okay. This got, and for the record, at the university that I taught, like, the average age for seniors, because it was more of a commuting school, the average age for an undergraduate senior was about 26, 27 years old, right? So a parent of like a 26-year-old called me and was like, you know, my daughter's very upset that you asked her to do this portfolio for her capstone. And I'm like, I'm not even having this conversation with you. Click, like, what?
Good for you.
Oh my God. It's just, it's outrageous. So we talk a lot about the way to female empowerment is taking fucking personal responsibility. Like
100%.
Yeah.
And there's no other excuse for it.
Oh, I mean,
you know, and I know that I know that people have had a rough time in life. I understand that. I understand they might have had a really screwed up childhood, just a fucked up way of how their parents raised them. I get all that.
Yep.
However, take personal responsibility.
Yep.
Get over it. You're an adult now.
Right.
And I understand that things are very dark and it's hard to let things go. But here's the other thing. Have enough self-worth.
Thank you.
To either go get some type of help, talk to someone, do something instead of ignoring it.
Right. Or blaming.
Right. Yeah.
I was watching the other day, Candace Owens. I don't know if you know who she is.
Love her.
Yeah, love Candace, right? And so she was on a college campus because she's very outspoken about a lot of things that are going on in the world right now. And one of the gals asked her, like, how do you feel about blah, blah, blah? And she was just like, life's hard, get a helmet. And I was like,
I think I saw that.
Love that.
I think I saw that.
I fucking love that.
And
Life
she was like, next
hard.
question.
Right, next question. And then like, oh my God, it was fabulous. I'm like, I'm going to steal that. Life's hard, get a helmet.
Yeah, so, exactly. And I mean, I can speak to this personally because my sister, she'll never see this podcast, so I can say it. Still at 63 years old, blames my parents and the way that she was raised for her entire life.
Yeah.
You're 63.
And it's sad because what a waste of a life.
Yeah. I know. She would argue the point, of course. But, come on.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I have some pretty strong opinions, strong views about that.
You're on the right podcast.
I tend to keep them in a tad because, maybe I don't want to hurt the feelings because I can be very outspoken when it comes to these subjects. And maybe I'm a little too hard. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I don't understand.
Right.
Maybe I've never been through it. So therefore I don't understand, but I've had my own struggles. I've had my own personal issues. And maybe they weren't as severe as some others. But at the same time, I do know that the way we are with ourselves and our lives you can get over things.
Yes, you can.
You can ask for help. You can
actually do hard things.
You can do hard things to get yourself better. But what it comes down to is they don't want to do it because it's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's uncomfortable for them to do anything to get them out of their funk or get them out of the situation that they're in to actually better their life. They would rather stay in the mud and just, kind of like be there to where it's just like self-loathing of, poor me,
wallow in it.
Yeah. Thank you. Wallow. That's the word I was looking for. They wallow in it. And it's just like, then they complain. It's just like, do something about it.
Right. Because it's familiar. It's familiar. They don't want to change. They don't want to do anything. And it just blows my mind. Yeah. And they say they're comfortable in this area. Yep. How can you be? They're not. They're not. And that's the essence of what this podcast is about. The Ayurvedic woman, the woman warrior, like, you gotta be able to pull yourself up out of the mud. And so I so appreciate that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Lori, I have one final question because I know some of our listeners are going to want to know the answer to this before we pull our oracle card. Because then you're officially part of the cult. So
Jai Bhagwan.
That's it. Jai Bhagwan.
Jai Bhagwan.
I like that. Jai fucking Bhagwan.
Jai fucking Bhagwan.
I'm stealing that one.
Please do. Please do.
My friend and I will
soul be
Listen, my friend and I will get on the phone and we'll be like, Jai Bhagwan, women warrior.
That's what we do.
Okay, so ask that.
How was the name Ice chosen? And I know you answered me this question, but I want to know.
That's okay. Ice was actually, we were sitting around, once I got the job, we were sitting around kind of like the bleacher area and all the gladiators were there. And I had already started thinking of names when I got the job. So I had a good week and I just started naming things around my house. I swear to God, because if you think of the names, I mean, Diamond, Gemini, Nitro, Zap, they're so random, those names, if you think about it. Mm-hmm. So that's what I was randomly just naming stuff, going, does that fit? And then when we were sitting on the bleachers, that's when Top Gun came out, the movie. And somebody had mentioned to me that I could pass as Val Kilmer's sister. And somebody goes, Iceman. And we all just kind of went, oh my God, ice. And that's kind of, it just kind of sat, just kind of worked. I know.
Love it.
So great.
That's how ice came about. And then
evolution.
It was perfect because I think it was the following, it was like 6 months later. I don't know, maybe 3 months, but it was in that year, Ice Ice Baby, the song came out.
Yep.
So I just got like a double whammy on that one.
Oh, God.
You know, so, and then I heard somebody told me that Ice Ice Baby was just remade recently.
Was it?
Yes.
I got to find it because I was all about the Vanilla Ice back in the day.
He didn't do it. It was who remade this? Zap actually sent me something and goes, "Hey, did you hear that Ice Ice Baby was remade?" I think somebody there's an artist, I want to say Tyga.
Okay.
Is his
You know what? When
Tyga, Tyga.
Yeah, Tyga. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Remade Ice Ice Baby. So I haven't listened to it yet. I got to pull it up on Amazon Music and check it out.
I'm going to totally check it out. Thanks for letting me know. Awesome. All right. Well, we are at the end of our podcast. And so we pull the Oracle card. And so actually, because it's October and Halloween is my favorite holiday, we are pulling the Halloween Oracle today. So give me a number, Ice, between 1 and 25.
21.
21. Okay.
It's my number. That's my number. That's been my jersey number. That was on everything.
All right. Here we go. Barmback, sweetness and synergy. So this is what it looks like. And I'm going to read it. So I gotta find the page, read what it says. 21. So it always starts with this like little poem. A pea, a cloth, a coin, a ring and stick, within a loaf of speckled sweetness, slice it and eat it, a glimpse of my fate's completeness. Not quite a cake and not quite a bread. Barmbrack is a sweet loaf larger than a typical bread loaf, baked with flour, sugar, salt, and dried fruits such as raisins. The making of Barmbrack is an Irish tradition that still stands around Samhain, which is the Celtic holiday for Halloween. The person baking the loaf would be sure to set the intention for love, truth, and synergy while preparing. Inside the dough, a number of special objects are hidden and baked into the loaf itself. The objects are used as a kind of random oracle. Each one has a particular meaning, which represents the fate of the person who found it in their slice. The traditional objects include a coin, a pea, a stick, a ring, and a small piece of cloth like muslin. Some other additions made in modern times were like religious medals. Should you slice the brack that contains a coin, this would indicate prosperity and good luck. The pea, unfortunately, meant that no marriage would occur for you that year, yet finding the ring meant a marriage was certain. The stick to be avoided at all cost indicates disputes and unhappiness, and finding the cloth meant bad luck and little money ahead.
Damn.
When you pull the Barmbrack card, it indicates a curiosity to know what is ahead, but it's important to balance that with the now. After all, we have the tools to change our future should we choose. The sweet synergy of Barmbrack, all the ingredients, including the objects, are more complete and powerful together than they are individually, should encourage you to seek your own sweet spot. So there you go.
That's
this is about
awesome.
Yes, isn't that cool? So
cool.
I'll text you a picture of this.
You got it.
But it's curiosity about, to know what's ahead. So in your journey
That's
right now.
Perfect.
Isn't that perfect?
Perfect. It is perfect. It is. Because there's so much curiosity.
Yeah. What is your biggest curiosity? I'm curious. Myself.
There's so many things happening right now that it's so many things. It's just like possible tour, possible children's book. There's so many things.
That's great.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, the curiosity is how it's all going to play out.
Mm-hmm.
And like I told you before, it's all about enjoying the journey. If nothing transpires, to be quite honest with you, it's okay, because I know the journey right now. So far, I'm having a blast.
That is awesome. So this is the perfect card for you.
It is the perfect card for me. It's
like all these gems inside, and we don't know what's going to be next.
Exactly. It's just, you're right. It's keeping a balance and keeping very level-headed, and not to expect, and just let it flow and let it happen.
It's awesome.
What is that? Somebody says, let it flow, let it go, let it flow, let it go.
Yep.
Let it go, let it flow. Back and forth.
Ice, thank you so much for being on our show today. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me on.
Oh my God, it's been so great. Praj, any final comments or words? I'm so glad.
No, I wish you the best, and I'm really excited to see what you come up with next. I mean, again, enjoy the ride, and
so am I.
Be curious.
Yep.
So, yeah, it's awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
thank you so much, you guys. I appreciate it.
Ice, you're amazing.
Call me. I'm here.
Absolutely. We're gonna get back in touch, and I'll probably be in California sometime within the next couple of months. So we'll make sure that we get together. So
absolutely.
All right, everybody.
That'd be awesome.
Awesome. Well, everybody, that's our show for today. Thank you so much, and Jai Bhagwan, Women Warriors, and as always,
Jai Bhagwan.
May your soul. May your soul be victorious.
Is life hard? Yeah, it's really fucking hard. And you can also have the life it is that you want. You just got to work for it.